Another day, another chore. Yesterday when we were cruising, the alternator belt started squealing a bit, which means it probably needs tightening, and I hate tightening the alternator belt. I hate this job. I have my alternator belt adjustment device. You're right, it's a mooring pin.
The party boat going past.
I wish I was on a party boat.
We are the party boat.
No one parties harder than us at the engine bay. I have to say, I think I am actually starting to enjoy tinkering with the engine.
Are you?
How weird is that? It's just really satisfying, like, when you hear a noise and you're like, that's probably that. And then you can go in the engine bay and you're like, I know what to turn and pull to do a fix.
Wow, wow, wow. I never thought I'd see the day.
If something goes wrong with the engine later, don't replay this. The other little job that I need to do is tighten the stuffing box a little bit because it's been dripping more, and repack the stern gland greaser. They're both pretty easy jobs, but just need to keep on top of it, especially when we're cruising this much. So that's why I'm using my lunch break to come out and do some quick tinkering before we have to move again this evening. There we are, all repacked, ready to go in a matter of minutes. And now I just need to sweep out all this stuff so that our drains don't get blocked. All done. Just going to leave it open so that it can dry out a bit in the sun. Downside to only having my lunch break to do it on is I have had to do it in the hottest part of the day. Even Rufus doesn't want to be outside. A couple of hours later now, it's still really hot. I finished work, and because it's a 24-hour mooring, we have to carry on. And I was just coming down here to take the fenders off, and I heard a hissing sound from the gas locker. It sounded like a tap running or something, like quite a loud hissing. So obviously I was quite concerned, checked that the gas wasn't on, and then assumed that the heat was causing pressure to build up. And because I panicked and I didn't know what to do, I just opened it a little bit, and obviously a load of gas went out. And then the hissing stopped, so I'm assuming there was too much pressure in it. Apparently the tanks have like a pressure valve where if they get too hot, they'll slowly release the pressure, which is a hissing sound. It's just a classic thing about boats where you don't know any of this stuff until you hear a weird noise, and then you learn about it. So for anyone else out there, if your gas tanks are hissing in the hot temperature, it might be the pressure relief valve working as intended. Save yourself a little burst of stress.
This spot was nice, but it's just far too open. The sun beaming down on us all day. Next spot, we're gonna try and aim for a bit of shade. He's just got his cool jacket on.
Wish I had one.
Lock one of the day.
Amy's just optimising our lock experience by running the cassette to the Elson.
Did it.
Yay, nice. Down there, I think, is the River Way, which goes towards Guildford and Basingstoke. We do plan on doing it, but first we've got to do Tower Bridge, but we'll probably come back down this way and go off down there, assuming we survive Tower Bridge.
Looks exciting. Can we get one of them, Wes?
100%.
He's doing a lot better with his cool jacket on because he refuses to go inside.
But Amy's made us more ice lollies to keep us cool.
These are practicing how fast they go.
Start millimeters, moving away.
That's quite cool, seeing the rowers going full speed.
This is like a floating street with all the boathouses.
It's happened again, we can't find a mooring, and now we're near Hampton Court Palace. But all of the visitor moorings were taken, so we just have to keep going.
Apparently Tom Jones is playing at Hampton Court tonight.
Oh,
So if we can get a mooring there, we'll be able to hear it.
it's quite cool.
But it means it might be quite busy.
Oh yeah. He's quite big, isn't he?
Worth a shot.
There's drama in this one. Basically, there's a little river cruiser with some lads on it that went into the lock, and we followed them in. And there was another boat coming and they were beeping, and the guy just started closing the lock gates. So I was like, oh, I think that boat's beeping. And he just shrugged and just closed it and just started the lock. And the guy on the other one was really nice, to be fair, but we did say that we just felt uncomfortable, like, arguing.
Thank you for trying.
No worries.
We're coming up to a place called Hampton Court Palace. I think this is part of it. What do you know about Hampton Court Palace, Wes?
Absolutely nothing. Other than a lot of people talk about it a lot. I don't really know why.
These are the Hampton Court Palace moorings. But they're all full.
As always. Right, we're going to sneak along here slowly and see if there's anything. I'll size up. Well, still no luck with the moorings, so we're just going to have to carry on, I guess.
It's quite frustrating sometimes when we have people look at us funny when we're trying to moor at like 7 o'clock at night. We had one person be like, well, you should have got here earlier, there was loads of spaces. And like people kind of look at you as if to say like, well, you're stupid trying to moor up at 7 o'clock on the Thames. And it's like, we already know it's difficult. It's our only choice. There's also just not the same kind of etiquette on the Thames as there is on the canals. On the canals, on busy moorings, you budge right up, but just look at these gaps. There's no need for those gaps.
Everyone budged up. You could probably fit about 3 of our boat in there, realistically. There it is, everyone. There's the sign confirming that this whole several-mile-long stretch can't be moored on. Getting really fed up now. There's nowhere. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
I'm too annoyed to care.
Yeah, thought maybe some of the pubs and restaurants are mooring sometimes, but it's closed. Well, still can't find anywhere, and we're losing daylight now. There's literally nowhere to moor. It's not that we're being picky, there is literally nowhere.
Set off at 4:30 and it's now 8:15. There's literally nowhere else. We've just gone pretty much an hour towards Teddington Lock. We're going all the way back now to Hampton Court Palace, and we're just gonna have to sit in the bush and risk a fine because we can't go anymore. We ain't got a choice. There's this perfectly fine spot, private. So we're tempted to just moor there and just say, oh, there isn't a sign on this section. We put it there. If they tell us to move on in the morning, we move to the official moorings. By then they'll be free. We're all moored up now. We're on the bit where we don't know if you can moor or not, but there's no signs. There genuinely aren't any signs. Honestly, we didn't know what else to do because there was literally nowhere else. We couldn't go further because that's Teddington Lock where it goes onto the tidal sections. Didn't have enough daylight to go back to our original spot, which was like 3 hours away. So this is it. I'm gonna see how it goes. And then tomorrow on Wes's lunch break about 1, we're gonna go onto the new moorings.
It doesn't seem like that much of a big deal, but literally when you're just cruising round and round and round for hours and you just can't find anywhere to stop, it's really frustrating. Like, Amy even rang a marina that we went past to see if there was just a spot for the overnight, and they didn't answer. We just can't find anywhere. Not feeling great, to be honest.
We're not enjoying this bit of the Thames. Like we said, it's beautiful. The people are nicer on this section, but if you work in the day and you can't move your boat mid-morning to get secured in a spot by 11, 12, there's no chance, honestly, because we've just found it a nightmare. Good morning. Not really. It's about half an hour later. We took Rufus out for his evening walk and we saw loads of signs along the stretch that we did moor on. We thought was the case, but we didn't realise that it was Her Secretary's State land. And I can imagine they've got pretty hefty fines, so We're not gonna risk it. And then we walked a bit further and we saw that on the official moorings, a couple of people had just pulled over for dinner or something, I don't know, because there was 2 gaps available now. One of them that we know we can definitely fit in and one of them that we probably can fit in. We're gonna go to the official moorings.
Sun sets in 1 minute ago.
So we've got a tiny bit of time to get to the moorings and to moor up.
And we're going against the flow now, so we're crawling.
First one we don't think will fit and we don't want to risk hitting that little expensive boat. We're going to go to the second one, our last option.
This is so stressful.
We're trying to do the right thing.
We actually did it. We pulled it off.
We squeezed in just.
Literally
Beautiful
just.
sunset. Tom Jones is playing.
We're going to walk down there and just see if we can overhear some of it to de-stress, because we are pretty much at our wits' end now. I think that was the worst panic mooring we've ever done.
We literally just fit. It's like almost fender to fender, but we're not touching either boat.
There was a lovely couple on a narrowboat that came out to grab our lines and help us in. And then the boat that we're kind of like bow to bow with, they're really nice.
We feel so much better. And just look at this.
There's a van that's pulled up, the doors are open.
Big black car with blacked out windows.
High-vis jackets all rushing in. Time for old TJ to leave the building.
Who's there? There he is.
There he is.
Off he goes.
Good show, Tommy. You enjoy Tommy's gig?
From the muffled sounds through the fence, yes. Couldn't find a mooring. Next minute, we're stood outside Tom Jones' concert. This life. So random. Thank you for putting up with us while we stress out about moorings.
And a big thanks to the Chip Pals on Patreon and for the bags of chips.
Check out our social media and we'll see you next time.